Yo peeps, alright, so today we're going to see another van and we're gonna see whether we're gonna buy it or not. FYI, we're not gonna film every single van that we go and see, because how many videos do you really want of yeah, here's another van, this one doesn't work. But if you want to follow all of the vans that we see and actually the whole design process, like tomorrow I'm gonna be posting stuff on plumbing for the van build, go to our Patreon and become a patron, and you're gonna see every single thing that we do when it comes to this van hunt.
But anyway, back to the van hunt, let's go see it. Tyres are, there's the marker, I'd say half its life.
Half.
So it's got another year and a half in it.
Alright, let's have a look at the other side.
Again, about half,
Alright,
although it's wearing on the outside, see here?
Okay.
It's worn more on the inside.
What does that mean?
It means either the wheel's out of balance, so the wheel's not entirely straight, maybe leaning to one side, so it's probably leaning out more.
And what do we have here? They seem newer?
Slightly newer.
I got it!
These might last 2 years.
Alright.
So they're roadstone. Let's check the other side.
This one seems more worn. Sam, this one's not the same. This one's definitely...
That one's a lot flatter. Both the rear tyres will have to be done then, and the front ones will need to be done in a year.
So that's
600.
600.
No, the brakes are good.
Brake pads or brake discs?
Pads are good. The disc has got quite a bit of a lip on it actually. Can you see that rusty bit on the outside?
Oh yeah, I can see that.
See, that's the lip. My finger's catching on that.
So it shouldn't have that?
Well, if they don't need to be replaced, it shouldn't have that. It's quite a big lip, so I would say it probably needs replacing soon. The pads squeeze against the disc, and usually the pads wear out first, but eventually obviously the disc does as well. And the way that you can...
So a lip means what?
Well, basically, because the pad doesn't come...
No, what does it mean? Good or bad?
It means they need to be replaced.
Good, thank you. Seriously, how long does it take him to answer a dummy, a decent mechanical question?
That's another 200.
200. Okay.
Yep, so the front ones have got a lot less of a lip. See, I can run my hand over pretty
And it's
smoothly.
not rusty as far as I can see.
No, so they've probably been replaced, and the pads were pretty much brand new.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
Discs are good, pads are new. So the front brakes are completely fine for the next couple of years. Front tyres need doing in a year, back tyres need doing probably within 6 months next MOT, and the back brake discs will probably need doing as well.
Okay, so this is the back door. So there's a little bit of a dent there, not that of a problem. It seems that it has not hit anything in the back.
It's a 136 horsepower.
136
It was advertised as a 176, but it's definitely a 136.
Alright.
That's what the online stuff was saying, it's a 136.
Okay. First thing we see here, in comparison to the other one.
There's a dent there.
Yeah, but the roof is not sagging. There's no rust. No. And the roof is fine. Now, there's a minor dent there. That is not a problem, not a structural problem at all.
The bulkhead's not that damaged, which means it hasn't been abused that much with
So what we're looking at is if there's some structural damage or there's too many dents around the inside, that can be a problem in terms of how easy it is to actually make this more homey. Also, it does tell you a little bit about how well the van's been treated. Obviously, if you see a bruised person, you'll know that person has been beaten. Similar thing with the van. But yeah, let's measure that.
Seriously, couldn't clean it. Oh no, that's 88 to here.
88, that is shorter, but that's probably because the wheel of the box. So why we measured that distance is because it's different in the majority of vans that we see, and also the newer crafters have a distance of about 50-55 centimeters from the wheel arch box to the back. But all the crafters are much like the sprinters, which have a distance of about 93-98. So we're happy with the inside now mechanically, which is the next most important part of this exercise.
117,000 miles. It was advertised at 115.
Okay, so they are adding miles to it. We need to ask them why. We're using this, which is an OBD2 scanner.
Yep.
And what it does is it's a cheaper version of what mechanics use to basically diagnose quickly if there's any problem with the vehicle.
Alright, so what we'll do, we'll press enter, and we'll press at the top here it says diagnostics. And what it will do is scan the van's computer, and it will look for anything that's wrong with it, and it tells you a brief description of what this is, and you can look at that code online. It could be a simple fix like there's a fuse that is wrong, or it can be something a bit more complicated like the pistons are wearing out or something, but it will tell you what the code is. So if we press read codes,
Yeah, there you go, yeah.
read codes, stored codes, no codes.
Okay, that's good.
Yep, any pending codes? No pending codes. So that's codes that have been deleted or cleared previous.
What's that supposed to be, do you think?
Alright.
Need to locate. So it's past that check, which is rather a relief, because you know, we have our big checklist which will be available soon for you to download for free and use it for your own van inspections. But we have the checklist, and it goes in a certain order. And if it flops, it's some major part early on. It's like, well, there's no point carrying on. So far, so good. So now we're checking the
engine.
Now we're checking the engine, cold engine, and then we're gonna start it and warm it up. Oh, I'm weak. Got it. So first inspection, it's not overly clean, but it's not overly dirty in my opinion.
It looks used.
It looks used, okay.
So the first thing we want to check are the levels. So the power steering fluid, we need to check that it's got nothing in it, like metal or oil, and that it's clean and up to the level that it should be. Right, so it's very hard to see, but there is a glistening of liquid on the bottom.
And is that good or bad then?
It's good. It's in the level and it's the colour it should be. This is the coolant.
What's this?
Coolant.
Sphere? Coolant.
Yeah. So this is what runs around the engine and keeps it cool.
What do we need to know about the coolant then?
Brightly coloured, no oil. So if you look inside, it's nice and bright pink. And there's no oil or specks or anything
How
on
do you
there.
know there's no oil?
Where you rub it off in a tissue, it doesn't come any colour.
Okay, there you go.
There you go. And then the final thing you want to check is the oil and the oil dipsticks. This is where the oil goes in.
Ooh, it's quite dirty there.
Oh, that's fine. As long as it's not dirty on the inside. So yeah, as you can see, it's oil colour. There's no specks. And then you want to look. See, on these ones it's quite hard to see because you can't actually see all the way in the engine. That seems fine. It's oil coloured.
He says it's fine, I have to trust him.
So there you go, see that hashed area? That hashed area is where it should be, it's pretty much full.
Good. So what are we looking at?
So this is the brake fluid.
Yeah.
And this is that's the power steering fluid, and these all run into this pump here.
Yeah.
That basically pumps it round and controls where the fluids go. So you look, this is an area where it could leak.
What could leak? The coolant
Either
or the...
coolant or the brake fluid, but both of them seem to be running in fine. And then you just have a general look around the engine to see whether there's any leaks that you can see. Everything there is, if you look actually at the exhaust,
Yeah.
see there's some fluid on it of some sort.
Oh yeah, I see it.
Yeah.
Well, what can that be? Could it be oil?
Could be oil, looks like oil. As you can see there, there's another oil drip there. That's the transmission box, which is oily, but it doesn't look like it's coming from there. This is the exhaust dripping down, so it's not from there either. Up there is oily, but it looks like it's dripping down onto this. So it seems to be coming from up there.
Okay.
That part there. So the main engine is over there. Over there. Yeah, under here seems to be where the oil is, and you can see it's dripping all the way down these pipes onto this.
What could an oil leak mean?
Bad seals. It could mean that there's a hole somewhere in the system. Could mean a lot of things, to be honest. Depends where it's leaking from, I can't tell.
So, are we done with the cold investigations?
Yeah. Okay.
It's
yeah.
good start, yeah.
The exhaust is fine. You go and check the engine, I'll just check.
I checked the engine. What am I supposed to check?
Just make sure everything's working, there's no whirring or noising. I'll check here.
You expect me to know whether there's any problem with the engine? Well, that's vibrating. I'm guessing that's fine. Why does he expect that I know what the hell happens inside an engine?
This here, this thing is where it's leaking from, I think. So I'm going to check. Seems fine.
No pressure?
No, that's fine.
So these are a few things that we more need to check and ask questions. And this is some of the repair list things that we'll need to pay for if we buy the vehicle, which can act well as a negotiating strategy.
So you check where the door matches the bodywork. You just run your finger down to make sure that it doesn't have any big dents. It's got a tiny chip there. Nothing major, that's fine.
What you're really checking for is whether the door is sagging, which it doesn't seem to be right now. Alright, we need to check how the door slides. Seems absolutely fine.
Yeah, let me check the rollers. Very clean.
Okay, so Sam's now gone to get him to get the service history. And have a bit of a talk about that oil leak. So when the dealer fails to produce the full service history they've promised you for about 4 hours, ever since we called them, and then they keep saying they're gonna find it, and then they still can't find it, it doesn't really bode well.
We visited a garage, or what seemed like a garage / car dealership, and they were more interested in fixing the van that they were 3 hours behind on than
selling
kind of
the
helping
one.
us. Like, they just gave us the key, we spent probably an hour going over it, and then I said,
do you think they would have noticed if we just drove away with the van? The price was a bit on the high side, and there were quite a hefty list of repairs that would have to be done by the next MOT, which is October.
This one was £9,000
instead of 7,500.
Yeah,
which was
so
the first one we saw.
The roof was pristine. The inside was pretty much as good as we're expecting at this price point and age. The outside was really good.
Yeah.
Like, the bodywork and the inside were perfect.
And when speaking to the dealer, honestly, we weren't sure whether they even wanted to sell it. They kept saying how they're using it and how nice it is.
They're using it to, like, transport pieces. They've done 2,000 miles in 2 weeks, which is a lot.
Which is not good.
The major point was the fact that, like, I asked about a few things and the owner kind of, like, shrugged them off as they weren't a big deal. I was like, there's a big oil leak. And he's like, well, the turbo was replaced 2 weeks ago, so it's probably that. But they haven't bothered to clean it. The tyres were not good.
It's just a gut feeling when you talk to the person and it's like, no, mate, you're not doing a good job selling this to me. I'm literally ready to buy a van right now. 9 months earlier than I was thinking that I would be buying a van. So literally all you have to do is produce a semi-decent vehicle in front of me without all of these extra expenses in the next year for me to have to take over.
And I will probably buy it from you.
Yeah.
Go to our website for our new merch, join us on Patreon for exclusive discounts and content, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell notification icon so you never miss a video. See you later, peeps.
And join us on Patreon, okay? If you want to see more of these and more up to date.
And more of me under the car. So, see you there.
I go under the car too.